Cult of the Lamp, a game that some time ago popped up on my Steam page, and it seems that in the past couple of weeks the game got more and more attention. And you don't really need a trained eye to tell why. The super cute and cartoonish style is the biggest feature of the game, and with a drop of evil and sacrifice makes the perfect recipe for a gorgeous game and interesting visuals, making everyone say, "Oh, who's a cute evil lamb? Oh, you are, oh look at you, you're so evil." But does the rest of the game live up to the expectation of the graphics? Well, good question me, let's find out. So a really quick disclaimer, in this video I will not discuss the ending of the game or late game stuff in general, but I will still go through the first quarter of the game, so here's your spoiler warning if you want to go 100% blind in this game. So let's get started. In this game you are a lamb, the last of your kind, being sacrificed by 4 bishops because they fear the one who waits, or the 5th bishop, which they sealed away and fear that he will use the lamb to break from his chains. The lamb is killed, but he still meets the man himself, and it's revived at the price for creating a cult in his name and eternal servitude. From there the actual mission of the game starts. Create a cult, gain more power by being worshipped, and having a lot of hours and free your master. The game is separate in 2 sections, one with the base construction and management and one roguelike dungeon combat. We'll start talking about the one where you'll spend most of your time, the base. A clear inspiration from this section was Don't Starve, from the overall graphics to even small things like grass, berries, the hunger icon, and even this shit. I swear, I never expected to shove my fingers in manure again, but here we are. The base building I found to be the most enjoyable thing in the whole game and what made me spend hours in every playthrough. Here you recruit people, or animals, to your cult, putting them to work like farming, chopping trees, construction, worship, and all that stuff. If you make them happy by giving them foods, answer to their request, or blessing them, they will give you faith, which will allow you to unlock new buildings in order to grow your cult. And like always with all cults comes a church. In the church you can create new doctrines that will allow you to have an easy life, like making your cult enjoy grass. Okay, and the most interesting one being rituals, where you can increase the faith of your followers or use for other benefits like making your cult not need food for a period of time. But of course that will not make them happy and the faith will decrease a bit. But if they don't like it, well, there is always the sacrifice option. The customization is another great thing, being able to give your followers any form you want for a big list. You can give them names, colors, and you have even 3 slight different faces of that form. The game has a lot of decoration to personalize your base, but you'll get more interesting stuff as you progress the game. The thing I will guess is not that enjoyable is to clean up the mess made by your followers. But hey, if that really bothers you, you can unlock a building that will make your followers clean instead of you. Or you can make a toilet. The only thing I didn't like in this section was the beds. Your followers need to sleep of course, and the problem is when the bed breaks and you have to repair it, costing resources, not too much, but in early mid game I have a lot of problem with resources, so it was not the ideal thing. The only option was upgrading my beds to tents, so they will not break that often. But the problem is that the tents are upgrades, meaning that you need the basic bed in order to upgrade into a tent. So you will need a bit of resources if you want to expand your cult rapidly. But this is just a personal problem and there is a chance that you will actually enjoy this, so I will not say that is an actual problem. There are a ton more things to do here, but I don't want to spoil everything to you, so let's get to the combat part. When you don't have enough resources like wood, money, or even manpower, you can go to a dungeon. The game that reminds me the most in this section is Dead Cells, where you'll get random weapons and bonuses at the start, and you'll go to find monsters in almost every room. The exception being rooms where you find various NPCs that restore health or other features, like upgrades in form of tarot card that gives you powers up, but it's just from that run only. Oh my god, what is this card? Why it just look like a penis with 3 balls, oh my god. So if you played roguelike games, you are already familiar with this. But this is the part where the game shows its weaknesses. There are not too much weapons and the one you'll get at the start is usually the one you'll have to use for the rest of the run. The sword and the axe are good, but if you don't get too much luck you can the hammer, which is very slow, or the claws that deal decent damage only at the 3rd attack. These 2 are kinda bad versus the enemies that moves a lot, and most of them do that. The combat itself is a bit too simple, with only 3 actions being dodge, melee attack and range attack. At first will be quite fun playing with this 3 action, but the problem is we'll quickly start to get repetitive and you'll just want to go in a dungeon from resources or to actually progress the game, and not because you want to experience some action. The map usually is not that interesting when you have to choose between 2 different rooms. Every time one leads to a dead end and rarely you'll find something useful there. The tarot card upgrades doesn't have an impact on your playstyle, so as the time goes on you'll start to get bored going to the exact same thing over and over. The enemy variety is small and the environment looks pretty much the same with just slight changes between them. Now it really depends on your preference, so if you're more into roguelike games or seek a challenge, I suggest you to change the difficulty to hard, because up until now I died just 2 or 3 times, and that was because I wasn't paying too much attention, and even the runs are not that long. Most of the time, in my case at least, a run takes around 10 minutes. The great part about this is that you can choose your path in the dungeon, so you can get the exact resource you need. As for the soundtrack, well, I think was great. Sounds fresh and fitting from the atmosphere of the game, but sometimes I hear the same 2 or 3 tracks. But the game is not that long, so I don't think that's an issue. And I saved the best feature at the end, that being, you have a fishing minigame. Oh yeah, like all games should have. Oh, and the gambling game. No one is safe from them those days. Okay, so the game has some problems with the combat, but I think the base buildings cover all that mess, being extremely satisfying to see how your base and cult grows. The game goes down a bit after a while and the story is linear, so this is the kind of game that you play once and you'll forget about it in a couple of months or so. So the replayability is at a very low chance, because you don't have too much to do after the credits roll, and it's not like you can discover secret or unsolved mysteries, because there are none. I personally really enjoy my time with this game. It's a bit expensive, to be honest, for an 8-hour game, but if you really are in for a ride with a cute little evil game, I think it's worth it, or you can just wait for a sale. In conclusion, Cult of the Lamb received a 7.8. That's a pretty good score. Good luck in creating your own cult, and for more game content, and anime and manga sometimes, hit the subscribe button and a like if you enjoyed this video. That's all for now, see you in the next video. Peace!